Right now, each state and territory is running its own race, controlling its own public health messaging, restriction levels and borders. But this week, tragedy, when Ballina woman Kimberly Brown lost one of her unborn twins after confusion over whether she needed an exemption to travel to Brisbane for surgery. Instead of crossing the border, she ended up travelling 700 kilometres for an emergency procedure in Sydney.
There would need to be an extraordinary explanation in relation to how someone wouldn't be able to get medical treatment in these circumstances.
Now the PM is more determined than ever to move away from the piecemeal system of state-based COVID controls.
Australia was not built to have internal borders. In fact, the very point of federation was not to have them. And we must not allow this crisis, this pandemic, to force us to retreat into provincialism.
And the big idea grabbing attention is a traffic light system. The basics are simple. Cities, towns and suburbs can be rated green, amber or red. Green means low and contained COVID levels and open for business. Travel is okay between green zones. Amber means rising community transmission, with some level of lockdown and travel restrictions to stop things progressing to red, which is heavy lockdown and restrictions to control high levels of community transmission. Kind of like Melbourne right now. But to work, the system still needs states to agree on what constitutes a green, amber or red zone.
I've had hundreds of letters and emails from cross-border communities over the recent weeks and months, as have my colleagues. There will be a Commonwealth definition of a hotspot, come rain, hail or shine.
So could the solution to our border debacles really be as simple as red means stop and green means go?
Well, to help us unpack this idea, we're catching up with WHO advisor Mary Louise McLaws, who first came up with a system like this after the Beijing SARS epidemic back in 2003. Mary Louise, for this to work, we need a national framework for declaring a hotspot. So what do you think would be the best approach?
Look, mine's a very conservative approach, and I believe in being preemptive rather than reactionary. So a green zone is where you've got 0 to 59 cases over a 2-week period, not just each day, a 2-week period. Then your amber zone is actually when you start reacting. So amber is 60 to 99 cases over that 2-week period, and red 100. You've left it too late and you're going to have an enormous challenge on your hands. So you have to act in the amber zone.
So, for example, New South Wales wouldn't even be close right now to being in the green zone.
No, sadly, it is not. And sadly, it has been in the red zone. It took 35 days to get it out of the red zone. It's now in the amber zone. So they're still on a knife edge. And you can see how long it takes to actually affect a change. And that's why acting in the amber zone is so important. Don't wait till you get to the magic 100.
Even if this system works medically, politically I can see some problems with it, because state premiers aren't going to want to open up if they've got 0 cases to somebody who's got up to 59 in another state. But equally, the Prime Minister, who wants states opened up, he's going to be concerned about this whole notion of lockdowns lasting even longer by staying in the amber zone longer, like you mentioned about Melbourne.
Look, that's up to 59 over a 2-week period. And, you know, a small fire, amber, that you can put your foot on and put it out immediately. And then when it gets to that amber zone of 60 to 99, that's a little bushfire, a scrub fire, but it will tell you it can become a raging firestorm very rapidly. So I still think that each state and territory could open up to zoning as well. For example, Melbourne might have a metropolitan area that's quite hot, and so they're in the amber, but the rest of Victoria are green. So why can't they open up to South Australia or New South Wales if we're all green as well?
Mary Louise, how do you make sure that everyone knows who's green, amber and red at particular moments in time?
And that's the tricky part, because it requires, of course, the television stations during, say, the news and the weather to be able to have it up on their screen that where you're in the green. You could have elders or age-appropriate leaders for the 20 to 30-year-olds, TikTok, Google, all of that assisting to try to communicate to us and our cultural and religious leaders as well. And they could get updates on where we are at the moment.
Mary Louise, when all of this is over, and hopefully that's not too far away, do you think we should be implementing the traffic light system at social gatherings? I'm just asking for a friend who currently wears green.
Yeah, well, orange is not my favourite colour, so I think that we could just ban orange.
Fair enough.
Either stop or go. Cut and dried.
Lisa, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
We know you did. Mary Louise, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time this evening.
It's a pleasure. Bye.